Hey everyone, finish watching the next Power Rangers SPD episode, Shadow, Part 1. And before I get into the main video, I was watching through the opening theme song, and I love the theme song for SPD. It's one of Disney's best. But it did get me thinking, I really miss the cold opens that Turbo through Time Force would do. Ever since Wild Force, the show starts right up with the theme song. It's not a bad thing, but the cold opens helped with the tone, and I think a more serious toned season like SPD could have really benefited from having cold opens. So, on to the summary. We open on a flashback. Kruger is fighting off an army of Crybots while Grum laughs sadistically. We hear a female voice cry out to him. He wakes from his memory and looks to a sword mounted behind him. Elsewhere, Jack and Sid are fighting with Spikehead. Is this a different Spikehead, or did the other one escape? He's tough, but the other Rangers need help with their own monster. Sid goes to help them, leaving Jack on his own. Jack manages to defeat Spikehead and joins the others to capture the monster, which begins to cry. Alright. Grum argues with Mora over the usefulness of her monsters. Mora gives him the idea to target Kruger. At SPD headquarters, Kruger behaves suspiciously. He's overly angry and harsh to the Rangers. They're confused. They think something is wrong. Kat explains to them that he's been thinking about his home world. He lost everything there, but she doesn't elaborate. Outside, Broodwing threatens Piggy. Piggy owes him money. Luckily, Piggy happens across a winning lottery ticket and plans to use it to repay his debt. That night, Emperor Grum disguises himself as a human. Piggy, meanwhile, has won the lottery and opened an alien diner. He repays Broodwing with his new wealth. Grum shows up and tells Broodwing he's sending a general of his. Broodwing meets with Grum's general, Benog, and we recognize him from Kruger's flashback. He sends a message to Kruger challenging him. Kruger insists he doesn't fight anymore. The Rangers question his reasons, and Kruger recounts his story. Grum invaded his world, and as far as he knows, he was the sole survivor. After that, he vowed never to fight again. The Rangers go out to deal with Bluehead. First Spikehead, and now Bluehead is back. At SPD headquarters, Kat and Kruger argue about whether or not he should go and help the Rangers. Bluehead plants some mysterious spikes in the ground, and Kruger calls everyone back. Boom reports that Kat is missing. Kat's outside, and she runs into some bad guys. She fights them off with a little help from Rick. Suddenly, Benog appears, and Rick leaps at him. This episode's very interesting. We haven't gotten any information about Kruger up until now. This episode is the first to make it clear what Kruger's very silly first name was. It's been said once or twice before, but here everyone calls him by it a lot. It's Doggy. No, actually it's Anubis, but everyone calls him, including his arch nemesis, everyone calls him Doggy. His flashback is pretty cool to see, but it falls a little flat. We don't see anyone other than him fighting the Crybots. I know they had the Japanese Doggy Kruger suit available, so why didn't they use that as a comrade of his? In my opinion, I think we need to see something more from these flashbacks. And what I think they should have done is show Doggy alongside others of his kind fighting the attacking army. And when they're finally overwhelmed, his friend falls in battle. It doesn't have to be graphic. Even them just getting separated would be enough. One of the reasons I find the whole flashback underwhelming is because it's very similar to something that came before. Magna Defender's backstory from Lost Galaxy. He too was overwhelmed by villains and lost everything. In that case, we see it. His son gets murdered in a relatively graphic way for Power Rangers. Maybe they're just holding off on showing more Kruger's backstory at this point, because I know there is at least one other like him that has yet to make an appearance. Another reason I have some issues with Kruger's flashback is I just don't like his design. He's too awkwardly top-heavy. He has big cartoon eyes and stubby arms. The suit acting is well done. Nothing against the guy in the suit. He's trying his best. I just can't really understand how they had the Japanese Doggy Kruger suit and then chose this over it. Spikehead and Bluehead are back. Are they the same as before, or are these just more of their people? A unique element that makes SPD stand out is how most monsters of the day don't grow, they instead use giant robots. Maybe Zergain, maybe he escaped the abyss of evil and made a successful business for himself making robots for everyone. Speaking of successful businesses, Piggy's Diner makes its debut. Piggy's a fun character, and I love seeing him interact with the various aliens, so this is a perfect turn for him. Piggy recognizes Grum through his human disguise, somehow. I don't know why, he just does. I don't know why, what's even the relevance of any of this either. Couldn't Grum have just sent Benog without going to tell Broodwing first? Why was that necessary information to give the audience? This is a two-parter, maybe they needed extra scenes to stretch the story out. Kat gets to have a fight scene, and she shows how capable she is. This is a pretty cool episode. I'm looking forward to how this two-parter concludes. SPD has done a pretty good job with its two-parters so far. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
You go, keep the change. Hi, doggy. You're my favorite customer.